guys, so I'm back with a drugstore tutorial today, and not only drugstore but 90% if not more Wet n Wild, because I really wanted to showcase one brand to you guys, and I've gotten a few requests for like a one brand tutorial. I did throw in a few extra things because there are some things from Wet n Wild that I don't have that I needed, but everything I used is drugstore. I just wanted to show you some of my favorite things from Wet n Wild. Of course, there are like so many more like eyeshadow palettes and that sort of thing that I love, but it would just be impossible to use them all in one video. And yeah, this is the look I came up with. All the cheap products are from Wet n Wild too, so if you want to see it, then just keep on watching. To start off this look, I'm going to prime my lids with the e.l.f. eyelid primer. This is the $1 one. While I let that sit, I'm just going to fill in my eyebrow, and I've got one of my favorite brow pencils here. It's from Wet n Wild, and it is in the shade Taupe, and it's so cheap, and I went through like several of these. I feel like it's the perfect shade for actually a lot of people. I feel like it's really versatile. It looks really good for like blonde and light brown hair and that sort of thing. I would say even maybe medium brown hair. Just for kind of a base across the inner half of the lid, I'm going to go into this Color Icon palette. This is the one called Lust, and I'm going to take this light, ignore my nails you all, they're chipping really bad, but I'm going to take this light pink color. It's matte and super creamy, reminds me a whole lot of the light pink that's in the Lorac Pro palette, and honestly, like, the texture and all that is just as nice. And I'm just going to apply that to about the inner half of the lid. Now I'm going to go into this single shadow, and it's called Kitten. That same brush, I'm just going to get some of that on there and going to pat that over the rest of the lid. Now I'm going to go back to my palette and a fluffy crease brush, and I'm going to take this matte shade. This is a grape kind of color. And this is super pigmented, so I'm just barely going to tap my brush in there and then tap off the excess. And I'm going to apply this to the crease and blend that out until we get just a really nice soft wash of that. Now I'm going to take a really small crease brush and one that's kind of stiff, and I'm going to use another matte shade, and this one is a very deep dark plum, and I'm first going to start off in the outer corner with this and down by the lash line. I'm going to do little circular motions to blend that in, and then I'm going to start to take it over into the crease slightly, just about halfway. And just continue to blend. I'm just going to go back and kind of touch up a little bit. So I'm going to touch up this crease color. Then with that same brush, just wipe it off, and I'm going to go up to this cream color. And this isn't overly shimmery, but it does have more of a sheen than, say, that light pink we use, which is completely matte. And if you want, you can go in there and apply some of that right in the inner corner too, to just kind of further brighten that area. Now I'm going to go back to my eyeshadow brush, and I'm going to use the tip of it with that grapey color again. And I'm just going to smoke out my lower lash line with that. Really don't be scared to pull that color down, because we will clean that up with our concealer. Go ahead and do my eyeliner, and I used to have the Wet n Wild black gel liner, and I really loved it. I had it until it dried out, which was quite a while. So I haven't repurchased it yet, so I'm just going to go ahead and use this one from Maybelline. I'm just going to make a thin line on my upper lash line. And I do like to wing it out slightly. with whatever is left on your brush, just take that right underneath the outer part of the lower lash line. I'm just going to pick up some more on the brush, and I'm going to line my waterline with this. And if you aren't comfortable with that, just use a pencil, or you can get a pencil and dip it into the gel liner and line it that way. I'm just going to be applying these lashes with my little tiny Revlon lash glue. Look how cute that is. I'm going to use my Maybelline Dream Lumi Concealer. This shade is called Radiant. And I'm just going to apply that under the eyes. I'm just going to pat that in with my finger. Can you tell how it really cleaned up that under eye area? It makes a big difference. Now I'm just going to take a little bit more eyeliner and go over the band of my lashes, so that's not quite so obvious. Then I'm going to give them a quick curl. And lastly, I'm going to go over my natural lashes with a little bit more mascara. For some bronzer, I'm like ghostly white, as you can see, and I'm going to use this bronzer. It's called Goddess, and I highly recommend this bronzer to anyone, unless you have just super dark skin. I think for mostly everyone else it would probably work, but it's a matte bronzer, which is kind of hard to find, especially in the drugstore. And it's super pigmented and just the perfect amount of warmth and coolness, if that makes any sense. And I'm just going to warm up my face just a little bit. And I'm so excited to show you all this blush. As long as I've been a Wet n Wild fan, I've never picked up this blush before. But I've been hearing so much about it and I couldn't put it off any longer. And it is Pearlescent Pink. And let me tell you, I've been using this blush every single day since I picked it up. I absolutely love it. It's just gorgeous. It's like the perfect color. It's a peachy pink. And it's not glittery or overly shimmery or anything, but it's not matte. It does have a sheen to it, and it's just absolutely perfect. I love it. And so pigmented that seriously, every time I put it on, I kind of go overboard. I'm going to combine two lip colors today. One is, I don't know the name of it, it just has a number. It's 520E, and it's kind of a bright one. It's like a reddish pink. It does come off kind of neon. I'm going to take a piece of tissue paper and blot just the center of my lips, because I'm going to go right over that with this light pink color, and this one is in 901B, but I think the shade is called Think Pink. So this is a really matte lip look, and I'm not really into that, so I am going to go over it with a gloss. I don't have one by Wet n Wild, and use this one from e.l.f., and it's one of their glossy glosses. I think this might be, sorry, from their mineral line, and this one is in Dragon Fruit, and I just wanted a little bit of like a shine there. So this is the finished look, and I really love everything I used from Wet n Wild and everything else. But yeah, that is my look. Definitely check some of these products out if you haven't yet, and I really hope you guys like the look, and I will see you in the next video.